Welcome to the Neuroscience Office Hour with Suzana Herculano Houzel. That's me. I told you in another visit that you share with all other vertebrate animals an inability to directly order your muscles to relax. All that your motor neurons can do is to command your muscles to contract, which muscles do by shortening their fibers in response to the signals that they receive from the motor neurons. How can you possibly relax then? There's only one way. You need to make your motor neurons stop telling your muscles to contract, which they do all the time when you're awake, even if just a little bit. That little bit is what keeps your muscles toned and gives them their usual shape, which is not just really pretty, but also useful because it primes your muscles for action and protects the tendons attached to them by keeping them always taut. Think of a rope attached to a wall. If it's slacking and you pull on it, there's a good risk that it will snap. But keep it taut, and you can increase the pull on it without much risk. I'll let somebody else explain the physics of that to you. Letting your muscles go feels relaxing, which is soothing and probably something that you will want to feel at times. That you can enjoy the luxury of not doing something all day long. Your brain detects the loss of muscle contraction and goes, oh cool, not much going on now, I can just chill. How to get to that state? You can start by doing what you probably have learned on your own already, just stop telling your muscles to contract. You can only do that if you first notice that all your muscles are tensing up, of course. All voluntary change starts with self-awareness, which is one of the biggest benefits of therapy, but that's a story for another visit. But it is only when you become aware that your muscles are tense because they already are contracting that you can stop telling them to contract. This is a neat trick that you can only learn on your own by trial and error. You know when you've managed to stop telling a muscle to contract because you will feel it becoming heavier on the rest of your body. But here's another trick that you can add to your bag, courtesy of the neuroscientist on call, also me. The trick is breathe deeply and slowly. Okay, fine, maybe you already knew that, but I will tell you why that works. The circuit in your brain that makes you breathe is coupled in a two-way circuit with the circuit that both gets you mentally amped up and physically toned and ready for action, which makes sense because once you get going, your body will be using more energy, so the extra breaths will come in very handy. That circuit is your locus ceruleus, that's fancy science talk for the blue spot in your brain, which really is bluish from all the noradrenaline that it produces and releases. On your brain, the noradrenaline makes you wired up and attentive. On your spinal cord, the noradrenaline increases the activity of your motor neurons, which tell your muscles to contract, and so it increases the tonus of your muscles. If you're awake and thinking of things to do, your locus ceruleus is priming your motor neurons for action, and the more your muscles contract, the more oxygen they use, and the faster you breathe, and the faster you breathe, the more that this particular merry-go-round between breathing center and locus ceruleus turns, which keeps the toned state of your muscles and maybe snowballs it to the point where the contraction starts to hurt, which is when you might realize that you have a problem called anxiety. But that's a story for some other time. What can you do besides trying to stop telling your muscles to contract? You can actively, consciously slow down your breathing. If every time that you breathe, you nudge the locus ceruleus into action, then taking fewer breaths per minute will curb its enthusiasm. But if you take fewer and shallow breaths, chances are you won't get enough oxygen to keep your body going, which will start freaking out your locus ceruleus and will only make matters worse. But if you slow your breathing by taking deep breaths, which take longer. So you will take fewer breaths per minute. You contain the contagious excitement of the locus coeruleus onto your motor neurons, and you keep your body oxygenated so everybody is happy and relaxed. Or actually happy because you are relaxed once your brain registers that your muscles are not crazy tight anymore and that your body has plenty of oxygen to work with. See? Did you need to know that? No, but now you can think of your neuroscientist on call every time you realize that you need to relax and start taking deep breaths. Knowledge is power, because to have power is to feel in control, which is another really cool story for another visit. Okay, I'll stop talking now. See you soon.